Thank you. So, laments impact of high petrol pump price. And on the foreign scene, Senegal heads to the polls amid fiscal crisis and threats of unrest. In sports, Super Eagles battle cheaters for 2025 AFCON ticket. We have details of these and other stories coming up in just a moment. I am NYAKNNO, Albert. And now the news in detail. As Ondo State prepares to go to the polls on Saturday to elect a new governor, President Bola Tinubu yesterday evoked the memories of former governors of the state Adekunle Ajasin and Oluwarotimi Akeredolu to rally votes for the All Progressives Congress (APC) and its candidate Lucky Ayedatiwa at the final rally of the party held in Akure, the Ondo State capital. Tinubu, who was represented by his vice Kashim Shettima, urged the people of Ondo State to vote for Ayedatiwa as the governor of the state, describing him as the right man to take the state to the next level. He described the opposition as reactionary parties and said no former governors of the state, both dead and alive, would have voted for any reactionary party. President Tinubu also said a vote for APC will be a vote for progress to ensure continuous development that had already started in the southwest region. And back home, the people of Oguitumbonuso in a local government area of Akwa Ibom State have celebrated a new lease of life from decades-long yearning for potable water and irrigation system with reticulation network across 6 villages of the area. Governor, while performing the inauguration, described the project as important and in line with his commitment to leaving lasting impact on the lives of the people as his administration's major legacy, and announced the appointments of Owidwe Udo Wigo and Afia Princewill Okon as his personal assistants on works to oversee the maintenance of the water infrastructure.
So that it can be healthy enough to produce. Back to back, he has produced 2 commissioners for agriculture, back to back. And it shows you how this local government has impacted agriculture. And so, to continue to maintain this project, I have directed the engagement of a plumber, Owidwe Udo Wigo. So please, I'm directing that these 2 be engaged as my personal assistant on works.
Our Government House correspondent Voniso Harrison reports that Governor Enoh, while acknowledging in a local government area as the rice belt and key player in the agricultural sector of Akwa Ibom State and deserving of an all-season reliable water source, explained that the water scheme was initiated in response to the yearning of the people as presented by stakeholders of the community through Dr. Elisha Atai during his campaign. He charged communities who have benefited from government projects to ensure the protection of the facilities for the general good of the people, as he announced the approval of recruitment of 2 youths from each of the 2,272 Akwa Ibom villages into the state's community-based security outfit, the Ibom Community Watch, to work with youth leaders and village councils. Presenting an overview of the project, the Commissioner for Water Resources and Sanitation, Dr. Enobong Mbobo, lauded the governor's determination at ensuring a new lease of life for the people of Itumbonuso, despite the challenging terrain of the area, explaining that the facility, with 620 feet depth, 36,000 gallons overhead storage, and reticulation capacity spanning across 6 villages, is finished with a standard treatment plant to filter and regulate the pH scale of the water, a 25-year guaranteed pump, and a solar system for continuous power supply. Still in Akwa Ibom, operators at some petroleum retail outlets in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State have lamented the impact of fuel subsidy removal and the subsequent and frequent increase in the price of premium motor spirits, popularly known as petrol, on their businesses. In an interview with our reporter NYAKNNO Albert, a supervisor and pump attendant at Blue Sea Limited, Blessed Achibong, shared his experience since the first of many pump price increments in the last 18 months. According to our reporter, a supervisor and de facto Joe and a pump attendant, Isaac Okon, at Dalphon Petroleum, narrated the cost of staying in business and the difference in the level of patronage since the surge in the pump price of petrol. The petroleum retailers called for a speedy intervention in terms of a significant reduction in petrol pump price as a solution to the hardship experienced by both buyers and sellers alike. Moving on, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Batokon, has announced the deployment of Deputy Inspector General of Police Sylvester Alabi as a coordinating officer for the Ondo governorship election, tasked with overseeing police security strategies to maintain law and order throughout the electoral period. DIG Alabi will be supported by Assistant Inspector General of Police Bennett Igwe and CP Tunji Disu, assigned as AIG and Commissioner of Police Elections, respectively. According to a statement from the force headquarters, these deployments are part of comprehensive security measures aimed at ensuring a peaceful, transparent, and credible electoral process during the Ondo off-season governorship election scheduled for Saturday, November 16, 2024. The statement highlighted several key security protocols to include restriction of movement, all vehicular movement on roads, waterways, and other forms of transportation will be restricted from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on election day, with exceptions for essential services, including ambulances, media officials, and fire service. Ban on security escorts, security aides, and escorts assigned to VIPs are prohibited from accompanying them to polling booths and collation centers to prevent disruptions, among others. And talking business now, the Director General of the World Trade Organization, WTO, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has called on G20 governments to refrain from adopting new restrictions capable of worsening the global economic outlook. Her admonition followed revelations that trade restrictive measures introduced by G20 economies significantly increased in coverage over the past year, according to the 31st WTO Trade Monitoring Report on G20 trade measures issued on Wednesday. Although G20 economies also continue to introduce wide-ranging trade facilitating measures, the report pointed to increasing evidence of inward-looking and unilateral trade policy decisions. Okonjo-Iweala, who will be attending the G20 Leaders Summit in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil between November 18th and 19th, 2024, welcomed the trade facilitating efforts made by G20 economies, noting that they would contribute to ensuring and easing inflationary pressures. You're listening to Global News at noon on Memories 96.5 FM. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll bring you news from the foreign and sports scene. Do stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you for staying tuned to Global News on Memories 96.5 FM. And now to the rest of the news. On the foreign scene, Senegal will vote in legislative elections on Sunday that will determine whether the new president and government can gain control over the National Assembly and push through the agenda for reforms. The high stakes in the election are threatening to spark renewed unrest following a period of calm, and the run-up to the presidential election in March saw some of the worst violence in the country's recent history. Campaigning has grown heated in recent days and comes at a precarious time for the new government, which is navigating a spiraling fiscal crisis that could undermine its ability to deliver on promises to boost the economy and create jobs. And in France, thousands of police are being deployed in Paris to ensure security at Thursday's France-Israel Football International match, a week after violence in Amsterdam in which Maccabi Tel Aviv fans came under attack. Paris Police Chief Laurent Nunez says 4,000 officers will be on patrol, 2,500 at the Stade de France in the northern Paris suburbs, and the rest on public transport and inside the capital. In addition, around 1,600 private security guards will be on duty at the stadium, and an elite anti-terrorist police unit will protect the visiting Israeli squad. The UEFA Nations League match is under international and intense scrutiny following the violence after last Thursday's match between Ajax and Maccabi Tel Aviv in the Netherlands. And in sports, for the third time in 6 months, Nigeria and the Benin Republic will do battle today in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, as they seek to seal the automatic spots for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. After beating the Cheetahs 3-0 during the first leg at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo in September, the Super Eagles are visiting the Stade Felix Houphouët-Boigny Stadium in Côte d'Ivoire, the Benin Republic's adopted home ground for the umpteenth time this year, needing a win to cement the automatic spot in Morocco 2025. Ultimately, a draw is the bare minimum needed for Nigeria to advance, and the Super Eagles will also be playing to avoid a repeat of their 2-1 defeat to the Cheetahs at the same ground in June during the ill-fated 2026 World Cup qualifiers. The Eagles are currently top of the qualifying Group D with 10 points, but their opponent and second place Benin Republic, who are 4 points behind them, need a win to remain in contention for the second automatic spot. The match will be played at 8 p.m. later tonight. And that's global news on Memories 96.5 FM. But before we go, let's take another look at the main points. In the news, you heard that President Bola Tinubu yesterday evoked the memories of former governors of Ondo State, Adekunle Ajasin and Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, to rally votes for the All Progressives Congress and its candidate Lucky Ayedatiwa at the final rally of the party held in Akure, the Ondo State capital. And in Akwa Ibom State, the state governor, Pastor Mono, has commissioned a solar-powered water scheme for potable water and irrigation system with reticulation network across 6 villages of Uguitumbonuso in a local government area of the state. Also informed you that operators at some petroleum retail outlets in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State have lamented the impact of fuel subsidy removal and the subsequent and frequent increase in the price of premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, on their businesses. On the foreign scene, Senegal will vote in legislative elections on Sunday that will determine whether the new president and government can gain control over the National Assembly and push through the agenda for reforms. And in sports, for the third time in 6 months, Nigeria and the Benin Republic will do battle today in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, as they seek to seal the automatic spots for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. The news this afternoon was edited by Ofonisi Abasi Johnson and assisted by the production team. For views regarding our news or coverage of your newsworthy events, you can reach us on email newsroom@memoriesmediang.com or call our Newsroom hotline on 0909 000 0581. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Memories965FM. And now let's take you down memory lane. On this day in 1962, the Ethiopian Parliament and Eritrean Assembly voted unanimously for the abolition of Eritrea's federal status. That's the news. Thank you so much for listening. My name is NYAKNNO Albert. Good afternoon.